your taillight?
Oh, you want
taillight's
okay, let's go to the taillight. Here's the taillight. Here's my thought.
What is it? Now, tell everybody what this is about.
Well, this is, we've seen, everybody has seen the back of that car. Here's our graphics department came up with this. Here's the back of the car, and this whole thing, this whole opening, that's a module. That's what it's one piece. Okay.
From an SUV, from
the same car, the Lexus.
You went out and bought that as a demo?
I did. So you can see this one is already broken. So that's why I got it relatively cheap. But
well, where's it broken? Let's say, because
it's got a little broken spot.
Right?
Yeah, well, it's got a little broken spot here at the top. But it also lets me kind of get a sense of, I've replaced headlights, taillights, and I know this stuff. I mean, how does the human body break one of these? That was my initial thought.
She'd have to be going a lot faster than what was it, 3 or 4 miles an hour?
And even then, what would she have to impact? Okay, so, if you impact somebody's, arm or side of their body, that's not likely to break this. I mean, look, you gotta have.
Wait, show everybody. What are you doing?
You have a hammer type blow to break this. This doesn't break with a soft tissue, especially what happens when you bump into somebody? They move away. They're not a rock. They're not a tree. They're not going to stay solid. They're going to recoil from the impact. So here's one of my thoughts. And this leads, and then why is this left at the scene, but not after the alleged impact? It's nothing there, but it does show up later. That's a different story.
Because some of the witnesses said that wasn't around his body, and later on, after the snowblower and after the solo cup collection and all sorts of stuff, some pieces are allegedly found that belong to her car, even though I don't understand it, because the FBI or the crime scene analysis, when they removed that from her car, they broke it more.
Well, yeah, we know they were the Keystone Cops, and so we're not sure, what was done purposely and what was done negligently. Okay, so here's these autopsy photos, right? The one I want to focus on is this one with the head wound up here. See that?
Right.
This is a theory.
And this is Mr. O'Keefe, so this is a human person.
This is Mr. O'Keefe.
We want to treat him with great respect here.
This is my theory that may account for damage to the headlight or the taillight and his injury. Follow me here. Let's assume they get in some sort of fight. Karen Reed, John O'Keefe. Just a verbal, altercation. She kicks him out, or he gets out in a huff. He's behind the vehicle. Maybe he's crossed around behind to leave to go into the house. And we know they've had a lot of drinks. Everybody's had drinks. It's also very snowy, although not in the middle of the blizzard. That's to come. But it is snowy, and it's, the footing is off. Maybe he kind of loses his footing before she reverses into him. And as a result, it is his head, maybe he's like losing his balance, and it's the head that gets hit with the back of the car, which would account for that scrape,
I don't think so.
That cut in the back of his head.
Yeah, I disagree with you.
Well, I'm not a biometric engineer here. I'm just going logically. But look at the
wound. Don't show the head wound. It's a straight wound, as if he fell back, and like
it's also a straight wound that like one of these edges could cause. If you got right on the top of the head with something like that, it could cause a cut like this.
Well, that could be the damage to the front of the head, and he fell backwards.
Well.
Or he fell backwards because he was drunk and fell on a rock.
That's all very possible. I'm just trying to equate damage to this taillight with the injuries suffered by the decedent. I can't come up with any other plausible means, and that would be unless he somehow got disoriented and was falling anyway when she hit him, and it was his head, the back of his head, which would be hard enough to break this thing. My head's pretty hard too, but a head is
pretty hard. I think he had to be. I don't think he impacted that taillight if that's anything.
Well,
if anything, his hand impacted the taillight when she backed up. If she did back up,
that's not going to do it either. That's not going to do
it. But then he falls because he's drunk and he falls onto a rock or something hard.
That still doesn't
we don't
break
have
the
pictures
taillight.
Of it.
That still doesn't account for the taillight.
Supposedly the taillight is not broken until she backs into his car, back at hers in his house.
Well, that was when they were leaving though to go find him. So that would have happened at 5-something in the morning. They find him a few minutes later as they go back to the house.
So that would account for a little bit of a break.
There is no explanation in my mind, except I'm trying to do the best I can to put these prosecution pieces together.
You're trying to be the prosecutor. I'm just trying to.
If I were in the jury room and I had somebody I had to convince, right? I would go
Right.
through this. I'd say, look, here, are you telling me this is what happened? Are you telling me that it's because he stumbled and somehow the back of his head was impacted by the car, and that's the only hard body surface that might crack the lens? Is that what you think? I think to go to every possibility, you get to reasonable doubt.